Hi, so quick video today on the importance of asking questions and asking questions well. This is something that I talk to a lot of people about. Because I'm a coach, I'm always asking a lot of questions. And the questions that I ask have to be at a certain level of quality. It's breaching into the range of what I would call powerful questions. So these questions are questions that really make people think, and they're not questions that people encounter all the time. They really shift the focus for people. And the importance of asking these questions is, asking questions is one of the most essential tools that we have in language, and kind of the most beneficial for when we're having conversations with people. Questions allow us to get new information for people. They allow us to learn from them, from their experiences that we haven't had. So we're not limited to just the experiences we've had in our life and what we can learn through that. We can also learn through others. But we can also really help people look at their own life in a different way by asking them certain questions. And that's what I do a lot of the time as a coach is I'll ask people questions that will make them think about their experiences in such a way to gain new insight from them and to help them overcome some obstacles or things that are holding them back. So question asking is, it's an art that takes quite a bit of practice to really master. But I have, certain things that I do or ways that I think about questions that help me land those really powerful questions with clients. And I'd like to share some of those with you. The first one, it's a mindset, and it's a curiosity mindset. So if you're wanting to ask these really powerful questions, you need to be really curious about other people. You need to want to know what makes them tick, what happens to them. You really need to want to gain insight into their life experience so that you can gain as much information from them as possible. And that curiosity is going to help you be asking follow-up questions and digging a little bit deeper and looking for areas that you're not really clear on, but also areas that they might not be really clear on as well, so that you can keep getting deeper until you get to the core of the value for that conversation. Curiosity is, it's something that you can go in intentionally and just say, I'm going to be really curious in this conversation. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I think we've probably all had that experience when you're really excited to tell somebody something and you start your story, and at the first opportunity they tell you how it's kind of like this thing that happened this one time for them a year ago and hijack your conversation and tell you about some boring event. Being curious stops that from happening. If you're really curious about what they have to say, you're gonna make sure that they tell their entire story before you hop in and start talking about something else. And people are really like this. The second sort of ideal or tenet of powerful questioning, as I would call it, is being non-judgmental. So coming to the person you're talking with full acceptance of anything that they're going to say. We all have our internal chatter and how we feel about what people are talking about. But if you can suspend that or try to quiet it down and just be open to whatever they're going to say, it's going to allow you to ask different questions. A lot of times when we're having conversations with people, we ask questions that will reaffirm our beliefs about things. So if we have a feeling about something, we're going to ask questions that are kind of going to push people into agreeing with us. And by doing that, you don't get any value from that other person, and they don't get any value from you, but it makes them feel kind of defensive or like they're being judged. So you want to be able to step back from that, be open to learning as much as you can about their perspective. And then whatever happens after that is, that's your own business. If maybe you want to reconsider your position or you don't, it doesn't matter. But you want to be able to suspend that, to have that conversation with them and to ask those questions. The third thing is, it seems like maybe a minor detail, but it is pretty important. And it's to make sure that all the questions that you're asking are open. So open-ended questions. Things like why type questions, how type questions. You don't want any question that somebody can answer yes or no to. And if they are answering yes or no to your questions, you might want to ask yourself if you've built enough rapport with them to allow them to really expand on their answer. A lot of the times, if somebody's really being short with your questions and they're just throwing back a couple words at you, it's probably time to take a step back and to look at, okay, well, how did I set up this conversation? Are they comfortable talking about this? Do we have the rapport that would justify them being open with me about it? And if you don't, then maybe it's time to steer away from that conversation or to take a step back and build those rapport pieces. Another trick that I use as a coach, and it's something that we're trained on, is shifting paradigms. So what this means is, changing something in the conversation to allow people to think about it in a different way. So if people are talking, they're telling the story about the past and everything's really rooted in the past, I'm going to try to pull their attention to what it means to them in the future. Or if we're talking about something in the future, I'm going to ask them, what are they doing today to make that happen? Or what strengths are they developing today that will need to grow to be able to accomplish that? It's a shift. If they're considering a lot of different things, but there's, one variable, let's say, that they're really focusing on, take that right out. Say, you know what, if that wasn't an issue, what would happen? Or, if that wasn't even around, what about all the other things? People centrate on one thing that's really important. So by removing that from the conversation, they can really explore all the other pieces and probably find a lot of value that's really important to them. So those are a few, key things to asking powerful questions. And the last one is, it's probably most important, and it doesn't actually have anything to do with questions, but in order to be asking powerful questions or to really take full advantage of questions, the last thing is listening. And I don't just mean, listen to what they're saying, try to pick it up. I mean, really, really listen and listen behind what they're saying. And, you've probably heard of active listening, which has a lot to do with, body language, like the full conversational event. So body language, the words, the context, the meaning that you're seeing behind the words, patterns in language or conflicts in language. If they say they're really excited about something, but you can feel that they're hesitating, maybe you pick that up in your intuition, maybe you see their body language shifting. Really, really tuning in to the person that you're talking to is gonna start to show you some avenues of questioning that you may not consider if you were just having a light, easy conversation with them and not really paying attention. In order to do this, that non-judgment thing has to really come into play, because you have to silence or suspend a bit of the voices in your head that are telling you things to be able to pick up more from them. So, I call this really locking in, and it's something that I have to do with my client all the time is, set aside everything else that's going on in your mind and really just lock into what they're saying, what it might mean to them, and where you can add clarity by asking a question, or, how you can shift the paradigm so they can look at things in a different way. Questions are super, super important, and they're something that makes conversations really great. So by really, really listening to people and really tuning into the tenets of powerful questioning, or these tools that I've put forward, you can really take your conversations to the next level, build even deeper rapport with the people that you care about. And the great thing about this is it's not just in a coaching conversation. I use these tools to some extent in every conversation that I have with anybody. So I hope that you can start to practice them and put them into play, and see the changes in the conversations that you're having and enjoy those benefits. I'm Cade Murphy. Thanks for watching.